Welcome to the Spinoso Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alex Spinoso. I have built multiple 7, 8, and even 9-figure medical companies, and I'm sharing my journey with you. This isn't a podcast telling you you should do this. I'm telling you exactly what I did. I want to help you build your business, take ownership of your life, and become a better leader at home and at work. So let's get into it today. Amanda, what are we talking about today?
Today, we're talking about your takeaways and any tweaks that you would have to the top 10 business books of 2025. This is going to be a two-part series, though, because we're going to talk about 10 books. We're only talking about the first, I guess, 4 today, 10 through 6. We'll do 5 through
I think that's 5.
1. Is that 5?
Yeah,
That would make sense.
that's okay. 5 and 5. It's all right. That's all right. I got
Yeah,
you. Yep.
well,
Yep.
every once in a while, my brother, you'll get a kick out of this because brothers tend to have this way with their sisters. He will tell me, he's like, "You are the smartest dumb girl I
Yeah,
have ever
S-
met."
So
He's
true.
like, "How can you be so smart, but so stupid sometimes?" I'm like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's a good balance. It's called alignment. It's if I was smart all the time, it would just be intimidating.
It would just make
right?
everybody seem so stupid around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, I got to have the not so smart stuff. So anyway, we're going to talk about the first 5 today.
That's okay. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So these are, according to New York Times, these are on the bestseller list. So that's where these books have come from. And with each one, you haven't necessarily read them all, but you're going to break down each one of them based on what you do know and cliff notes or what it is that your takeaways have been from what you've seen.
Yeah. Let's do it. I'm super excited. And I think I know why Vaughn created this subject for us. Is because we've actually been talking with a high level publisher and essentially a book broker to start writing what we hope will be a New York Times bestseller. So that's probably at more than a year away. But we're looking into that. I'm looking into building one. I hope it happens. We'll figure it out. But we've been studying like what it takes to be a New York Times bestseller and like a top selling big business book in general, what people like and everything. So let's get into it. I'm excited.
Ooh, that's
I want to.
fantastic. I know
Oh,
you're gonna create it because you just have a way of creating everything you are putting your mind to
I,
in some form or fashion.
I hope
So
so. I hope
sending
so.
send you all the woohoo good vibes on that one.
Let's do it. I
Yeah.
love it.
All right. So the first book we're gonna talk about, which is gonna be the number 10 book, is Hidden Potential by Adam Grant.
Mm. This is actually a great book. I read this one.
So Adam Grant is an organizational psychologist at Wharton. His books really basically talk about people are capable of far more than what they think they are, but the potential is often hidden or blocked by the lack of support, opportunity, or even beliefs in themselves. And he argues with the right environment and with the right feedback and the right people that you can really grow to greatness and do incredible things. And even if somebody doesn't show early promise, that they have the potential to do really, really big stuff. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, it was actually really cool. So I liked this book, and it was I literally saw it at Barnes and Nobles. I think I walked into a Barnes and Nobles while I was on a business trip because I hadn't brought any of my books, and I was like, "Fuck, I'm bored. I'm not gonna go play on my phone all day long. I drove to the nearest Barnes and Nobles and walked in and saw what kind of business books that they had, and, don't at me with your digital, like, Kindles or audiobooks or any of that fucking thing. I like to actually read paper and write notes and dog ear shit. But I saw this book, and I thought it was super interesting, picked it up, and it was really cool because they did study a whole bunch of kids and whether or not they'd be successful in the future, whether it was, like, in athletics or, academic, and all the sorts of things, and what they found was exactly that. Their surroundings, their environment was what pushed them into the next level of greatness. So it wasn't that people were the richest or had the most in front of them or had the most opportunities. N- it became a fact of it's not what they know, it's who they knew. So who around them was able to push them, shape them, grow them into greatness. So I thought this was extremely important because putting people into putting these kids into a position of success meant removing them from other aspects of what would have been traditional schooling or traditional sports or traditional athletics, and it was very cool to see that, or important to see that, because again, I failed a lot as a young kid in school because I was very busy. My mind was racing all over the place. You know, back then they diagnosed me with ADHD, and I never took any meds, but if you fast forward to my kids or other children, it's not ADHD, it's just being a kid and you got a lot of energy and you wanna let that out all the fucking time, and if you don't, work around that, then you're not gonna be able to get through to the kid. You're not gonna be able to get through to most kids. They're not all the same. They can't all sit there for 8 hours a day fucking learning, period. Nobody no kid should sit there for 8 hours a day learning.
No adult even wants to
No,
do that.
no adult can do that for the most part. Especially now with social media, you sit still for 30 minutes, people wanna fucking just get up and scream at this point. So it was really cool to see that, where most business owners are okay at spotting potential, but if they got really good at acknowledging and seeing what people are great at, then they'd be able to put those people in positions so that they succeed more. And this is a lesson that Brent and I learned, and that at the beginning, we cross train everybody. So we do that for everyone. Every position cross trains, meaning they're able to do what the person next to them can do. Clinic directors can do MA stuff, MAs can do clinic director stuff. If providers can do like MA and clinic director stuff, obviously we don't have MAs or clinic directors doing provider stuff that requires a license. But that being said, they can go back and forth in their positions. Now, the lesson we learned was that not everybody can sell a product. Some people hate talking about money. Some people hate selling. So we were forcing everybody into a angle of selling. Like, you all got to be able to sell. You all got to be able to provide this presentation in order to close the client. And some people just weren't good at that. Some people didn't want to do that. And until we learned that, and we said, okay, well, this person is really highly organized, but they suck at sales and they just aren't comfortable. So let's just put them in a job that requires high level organization. And that's when they started to really grow and get to their potential. So being able to recognize that is extremely important. And you'll make mistakes along the way, but it's important to start to recognize that early on.
Yeah, I mean, it's good if there's a gap that needs to be filled for a short period of time. Like, you have somebody that got sick or needed to leave early, like your business isn't having to stop for the day because you've got people that know how to do certain levels of the job, but getting them into what would be like their genius zone would be the most beneficial for everyone, for them too, because that keeps them excited about what they're doing. They're doing it because they're good at it and they love it. So you want them to be successful. Have you ever been surprised by a teammate that you thought maybe like you overlooked in some capacity? And then th- they just surprised you and then they showed up and they like kicked ass in an area that you didn't think they were actually going to be maybe even in?
I think there's been multiple times where you have a team member in one position and we've moved them to another position, or found out exactly that. I mean, that example that I had was a young girl who was terrible at sales, and we just put her at organization of the front desk, and now she's clinic director in one of the locations because she's super organized, super on top of everything when it comes to that. So I've had multiple team members surprise me when we put them in positions where we think they're going to really succeed. And at the same time, we tell them, hey, we see X, Y, and Z in you and your ability to do X, Y, and Z. So we think you'd be really good in this position because of that. And so they know, okay, I'm really good at this, and the boss sees I'm really good at this. So this is what I'm going to do in this new position. Because some people you might put them into a position and they think they might have to act differently or be differently in that position. It's like, no, I put you in that position because of what you are good at. So continue to work at what you're good at, and you'll improve, you'll grow in that position.
Well, what do you think it takes to have a business where you really can uncover that hidden potential?
That's a great question. What does it take to create that environment? I think you have to have a growth mindset. So that's one of our core values. You have to have an innovation mindset, and you have to have this culture where the staff knows that if you try and change something or switch something up or do something different, it is only because you are trying to make them and the company more money. So you're only trying to improve their life. And if they know that the decisions you make, the things you attempt to do, the situations, and the systems and processes, I guess, that you actually put your company through or roll out, if they know that it's all for trying to improve the system and you leave that open to where you're saying, hey, I'm trying to improve this system, give me feedback on what this looks like, give me feedback on where it is, then they will give you grace in order to try those things, but also you'll see what they're good at and what they're not good at, and saying, "Hey, you're struggling over here, and instead of firing you because you can't do this job, I'm going to put you in this job because you're really good at these things this job requires." Then they know that you're what you're trying to do is improve their lives and you care about them. Because if obviously if they suck at this job, I mean, that's a fireable offense. They can't do that job, and if you only focus on them doing that job, like, if I had only focused on that girl being sales, and I didn't recognize what she was good at and said, "You are a saleswoman, that's it," she would have been fired because she wouldn't have been able to sell because she sucks at selling, and she knows she sucks at selling, and she'll admit that, and gets uncomfortable talking about money, which is fine. But if we wouldn't have recognized that and say, "Oh, well, she's really bad at this. Let's put her in a job that she's gonna like and be really good at and succeed at." Well, then she wouldn't have grown to a clinic director in that position, right? She would have been fired and removed from the company. And so it's the same like in any position. A person might be over here just completely fucking up and they can't do X, Y, and Z right, but you might be able to move them to another position where they do succeed. Now, that being said, there's no reason why, and we've done this, Brent and I have done this, so don't do this. There's no reason why you should be making up jobs to just fit people in what they're good at if your systems don't make sense to have that person. So if you are hiring for a salesperson and you don't have any other positions available and you get somebody who's, maybe very organized but can't sell for shit, that doesn't make them a bad person. It just makes them not the person that you want to keep on your payroll because in the end, they can't pay for themselves. We talked about this on another episode. ROI. Every person has to have a return on investment for them to be in your company. So it's okay to let that person go and go find another person if you can't move them anywhere else. It's just how it is. Sometimes we don't have the payroll, the income, the whatever to hire a bunch of random good people, quote unquote, that are good humans and put them in different positions. No, a company still needs to run as a company. They still need to make profits as a company. So you still need to be effective in your job in order to improve the bottom line of the company.
Yeah, so with the right environment, these people can really thrive if the position that they can thrive in is available within your company. Okay, so number 9 is I Will Teach You to Be Rich, and that's the second edition by Ramit Sethi. This one is powerful because it is about finance and business, but more finance than business. And it's wildly popular. Everybody loves about to talk about money, how to make more money, and to learn how to stop budgeting like a broke college student, but instead start to automate their finances, invest, spend boldly, but spend money on things that they love. And his big idea really is that you don't need to be frugal to be rich, but you need great systems.
I haven't read this book, but I 100% agree with that mindset. I have here on my, again, say it, see it on my thing. It's the number one thing. Think, quote, how would a billionaire act here? And I ask ChatGPT this. I research what billionaires thought would think of certain situations and everything in my business and with questions. And I think that's really, really important. In growing up, my dad did everything. He changed the oil in the car, he cut the grass, he did everything in the house. And same, I learned how to do all that stuff. And then I got older and we started the business. And I did things like Dan Martell's buy back your time calculation. And I realized how much money I was making an hour and that I could hire out some of these jobs, like doing the laundry, like cooking the food, like doing the lawn and everything like that. So what happened was one day that it really, really clicked for me was I paid for it was maybe 3 foot by 2 foot piece of concrete to be laid down behind my old house so I could put my trash cans on there. Because there was a rule in our HOA that you couldn't see the trash cans from the front of the house. And if I put the trash cans on the driveway, we had a small driveway, so not all the cars would fit. So and my wife had the big SUV and I had the car and then I had my truck, my old broken down truck in the garage, so the cars wouldn't fit. So I hired a guy to come and pour this 3 foot by 2 foot concrete leveled flat area just for the two trash cans to sit side by side in the back of the house. It was an extension of the driveway and it was $400, right? And my dad was hemming and hollering, "You paid $400 for that? That's ridiculous, blah 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 blah." And it took the guy, I don't know, 3 hours to do, something like that, and then it set overnight, right? And when I really thought about it, it was like, okay, yeah, the concrete, the mix, the framing with the wood, it probably cost, $50 all in, $60 all in. But if I had done it, I would have spent an hour of my time going to Home Depot to get everything. Then an hour of my time, maybe 30 minutes, I would say on a good day, but an hour to 30 minutes to an hour of my time to learn how to do it because again, grew up with my dad, he's a contractor, I pick up things pretty quickly. So 30 minutes to an hour for me to learn how to do that. And then it would have taken me probably at least, God, probably double the amount of time that it took him. So it took him from beginning to end 4 hours, but me framing, setting it up, then leveling, figuring out how to level, what crushed, under gravel do I need to put down to make sure the concrete lays right. All this stuff probably would have taken me another 6 to 7 hours to get it done right at the level that he did it. So you think about it, it's like 10 hours, right? And so what is 10 hours worth of my time in that? Even if I'm making $40 an hour, it's a day's worth of work. So I could have just traded a day's worth of work and paid him a day's worth of work and then worked on my business, right? But it wasn't. It was a lot less than that. $400 was for a few hours of his time was a savings for me. And that's when I really got into what are all the things that you can automate as much as you possibly can to improve your decisions. And some of the greatest entrepreneurs I know, they focus on teaching and training people how to buy back their time and make literally hundreds of thousands of dollars more and save years off their life because they're not pushing that money or because they're not trading their hourly rate for dollars. So I see it this way. If you're a entrepreneur and you are making doing your job $40 an hour and you can hire somebody to do a job for 15 or $20 an hour, why wouldn't you so you can go work more at $40 an hour? It seems stupid not to, right? And people don't understand this, where the first thing you should do is number one, like have other people cook for you. Cooking is great, but unless you love it, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and you can buy meal prep. Literally, we have a Mexican lady that cooks amazing fajitas, and we buy them in bulk. It's $180. I think it's probably like 12 pounds of food for $180, fajitas, meat, but just fajita
Mhm.
meat, and
Mhm.
I freeze like 3/4 of it, and I eat 1/4 of it at a time during a week. So and I can have it for 2 meals a day. So $180 will last me 4 weeks at 2 meals a day.
Wow.
So 14 meals a week for I don't know, 1/4 of $180. I'm terrible at math, so 25 plus 20 is $45 a week. I can get 2 of my meals done the entire week. $45, right? You can't go out to eat for one person at a okay restaurant for $45 a person, right? One time, let alone an entire week of 2 meals,
And the amount of time that you're
right?
saving.
Yeah.
Going
Yeah, I mean,
shopping,
divide four what
preparing
is it?
it,
Divide
yeah.
45 by 14, 45 divided by 14, that's $3.20 a meal
Wow.
in meat. Now tortilla, you add on to it, it's all negligible. Either way, that's the number one thing you can do. The second thing is your laundry or literally cleaning the house. Laundry, house cleaners. Again, I heard a number the other day that the average person spends 4 hours a week doing their laundry.
That's a
4
lot.
hours a week, it seems like a lot, right? I have no idea, but, like, if you sit there and fold your clothes and you're a girl, so you got weird, like, little underwears that you try and fold and shit like that and, like,
No, I
bras and
don't.
like, full bodysuit. You
I
just
just
don't wear
roll
underwear?
everything
You just
up
don't wear
and
underwear. Smart. Smart, that's what I do too. Free balling it.
Commando.
Right.
You don't have to
No,
do
but
laundry.
but if you fold your clothes or your dresses, hang up your dresses and stuff, I mean, that's like a 40-minute job sometimes, 30-minute job sometimes.
Mhm.
Now, even if you, again, save 2 hours a week not doing your laundry,
Yeah.
you can't clean your house in 4 hours, top to bottom, deep clean, right? There's no fucking way.
No.
You got a big house that you rent, 2 stories. So there's that. So cleaning your house, again, get it out the door. Focus more time on what you do. Um, and so going back to it, and I could go through all those things, but cooking, cleaning, house manager, going to send shit out, shipping shit in the mailbox and stuff like that. I send Steph, she loves to do that for me, little jobs like that, and she does the grocery shopping and stuff. But we have other people that can do this stuff for us. So if you Instacart or whatever, and people are like Instacart's expensive. Okay, fuck it. For 20% premium, you don't have to spend that hour to go shopping. Who cares? It's and then at the next level, it's the flying private because we're right there now. If I gotta buy 7 plane tickets for my fucking family, and I gotta get there 3 hours ahead of time to check in all the car seats and get everybody through to then fight, and Leo and Geo are punching each other through the X-ray machine and all that shit, and I can drive up to a plane and get on a plane right away. Then I save 5 hours minimum every single trip, 5 hours, I could take my hourly rate and add that up and say, "Okay, does this mathematically make sense?" You just make everything a math problem. And that's what rich people do, they make everything a math problem. So they use their wealth to build better systems and automate better decisions. I mean, one of the things, again, I have on this list right here is, where is it? Automate. I have it down here. Break down and automate all businesses. I literally have that on my list of things to do.
Mm.
It's because it's born out of being as lazy as fucking possible. Really, the lazier you are, the more you try and automate everything around you. If you could wake up and again, this goes to that movie Wall-E, right? If you've never seen it, Disney. Have you seen
I think
Wall-E?
so, yeah, little
Okay.
robot
Yeah,
guy.
little robot. So
Mhm.
they left him, and then all the humans got fat as shit because everything is handed to them. They're weighted on hand and foot. If we could do the same in the US, I mean, at some point we're gonna be able to, right? We've got these Tesla robots. We've got now things that could fold your laundry, cook for you automatically. We've got coffee makers that make everything automatically. If you could get up and literally breakfast was cooked for you, it was just out. Your clothes were laid out for you. They were clean. Then you didn't have to drive to work because something carried you to work, or you were able to work from home because of all the telehealth stuff we have now. And then lunch was cooked for you. And then you were able to take an afternoon nap. And while you're taking your nap, I don't know, the kids are played with and diapers are changed and all their clothes are cleaned and their rooms are cleaned up because we got Roombas, and then we got a mop vacuum that's an automatic mop that's doing the mopping, and all of that stuff. You could if you could automate every single part of your life to where all you had to do was focus on what you wanted, and then you could again, there will be some pieces of shit who just sit around and do fucking nothing. But I don't think they'd be able to afford all those
Yeah, right.
automations. So if you could automate all those things, then all I have to do is focus on business and growth of the business. And then the time with my family is spent doing the good things that I want to do, not the horrible things like changing diapers or being up at 3 a.m. or having to do laundry or even something as simple as, installing doors in my closet, things like that. All that stuff I don't have to do. Now, I could do it. I spent 3 hours yesterday installing a cool shoe rack that spins around because I like to still build with my hands and do shit like that. But again,
That's because you wanted to do
I
it, though.
wanted
That's
to
a
do it.
very different thing than
I
feeling like you have to.
100% I wanted to do it. So again, using the money that you have to build better systems and automate those decisions, that's where business is going to go. Business is going towards artificial intelligence. It's going towards 24/7 customer service from that artificial intelligence to not only be able to inbound, but outbound to where there's never any gaps ever. And it's getting better to where people won't be able to tell whether it's human or not.
Mhm.
People can't tell, even my wife can't tell whether something is AI on Instagram now or not, unless it's something ridiculous like a
Like a
cat,
horse
like a
flying
horse
through the
flying.
air.
We were just looking at that, like a horse flying through the air, like a cat like eating an Oreo cookie and speaking. Like otherwise, some of that stuff is so realistic nowadays that people cannot tell the difference at all.
Yeah.
And for good, for bad, whatever, that's just going to be the future. Automating those systems is going to be the future of what's coming.
Well, we have some of those automated messengers with one of our companies, and even when I sent it to you, you were like, "Ah, it's really good." Like you would have no idea the cadence in which she talks when she leaves her message and everything. You'd have no idea that it's not a human calling you. It's really amazing. Um,
Yeah, and it's getting better and better, and it's almost there, but I mean, in 6 months, it's gonna be indistinguishable. Because Brent and I listened to one, like, 2 years ago, and then a year ago,
I
and
remember the
yeah,
one from a couple
we've
years
been
ago. We
trying,
were
like, we've been trying to be on top of this and create a robot and create a program, and it's literally learning so fast, and in 6 months, you're not gonna be able to tell the difference, whether it's a human on the other side of the phone or not. I mean, somebody posted the other day that they had an AI agent interviewing them for their first interview on Zoom, and they didn't realize that it was an AI until, like, 30 minutes into the interview when they just stopped talking, and then the AI didn't, like, fill that gap because it hadn't been programmed to fill the gaps in just silence, and then she contacted the company afterwards, and they confirmed, yeah, it was an AI that was interviewing you. But they're gonna be able to do all that sorts of stuff
amazing.
without knowing. Like, that's and people are like, "Well, it's taking our jobs." Yeah, oh, fuck, yeah. That's Go
Figure
figure out
out.
something else to do.
Mhm.
Go get better at your job.
Mhm.
Mhm. Yep.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I think it could be used for good. There's gonna be a lot of great things that we can do, and to your point of buying back your time, that AI is gonna really help us be able to do that. Because does it I don't care really how a product gets fulfilled or a service. I mean, if I need somebody to do a service on me, I want that done well, but if it's a product or a service, customer service type of thing, I don't care if it's AI or a human, as long as it gets done fast and done well, doesn't matter to me. It's kind of like grocery shopping, like the self-checkout. It's so much easier sometimes. If I only got a few items to just go through self-checkout, and I remember when that came out and people were like, "Oh my god, self-checkout, like it's gonna take away jobs." No, there's still people working in the grocery stores. There's still certain things that have to get done that way, but it does make it super fast. And if I don't really wanna talk to anybody, because I do have some of those days, I go through self-checkout, and then I don't have to interact either, which is kind of nice.
100%. No, I agree with you. 100%.
It's like, I've been talking to people all day. I don't wanna talk to anybody at the grocery store. All right. So moving on, the next book is number 8, Elon Musk by Walter Isaacson. He has some really, really great books.
Does he?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
If
I
you
haven't
have
read anything of his.
No? Okay, so yeah, he's done Da Vinci, Um,
So you gotta be a badass to really have him write a book about you.
yeah.
So the
Yeah.
goal is to have Walter Isaacson write well, he might be dead by the time I get
I don't
there,
know. You're getting
but
close to badass status.
Isaacson to write my autobiography. That's it. I'm putting it into my say it see it right now. Let me do this. Holy
Einstein, Steve
shit.
Jobs. Yeah, he writes about really iconic people.
Walter
Isaacson.
Isaacson
We have like a book.
write my autobiography. All right, it's on the goal list right there. Okay.
So
Okay, so I got
very good. You got
so
2
one
years.
so
You
one
got 2
one
years.
one I gotta really like make sure operate with urgency. Two, I have to make sure that I keep that fucker alive as long as possible. He's gonna be 117 writing my autobiography.
So in this book, he followed Elon Musk around for years, and it really is a story that reveals the brilliance, the obsessiveness, the chaoticness, the sometimes cruel side of Elon Musk, but the undeniably driven side of Elon Musk. And this is a book that he's written about iconic people, but it's about visionaries, really visionaries that have changed the world, and sometimes that comes at a high cost to the people around, uh, these people, but it it's a really great book about how to step into some of these things that make these people so iconic. So I feel like if you haven't read it, you need to, especially since it's going on your list.
Right? I do.
You've built multiple businesses. So, how do you react to the idea that obsession and sacrifice are the real price that you pay for innovation?
Yeah. The answer is yes. 100%. Like, that is the idea. If you're gonna innovate and grow your business, you're going to sacrifice a lot. You're gonna sacrifice friends, you're gonna sacrifice family members, you're gonna sacrifice time with your kids, you're gonna sacrifice time for yourself, you're gonna sacrifice uh, money, you're gonna sacrifice things that you wanna buy. Um, Literally, you're going to sacrifice everything when you're truly, truly obsessed with trying to be a visionary and do something that nobody has done before. I keep telling our staff, like, bear with us while we're building these things because some of these things we're building have never been built before. Some of these connections we're making in our systems have never been connected before. Some of the integrations and the things that we're uh, creating off the fly have never been done before. So we're just trying to figure it out as we go. And that's part of that obsession. That's part of that innovation where you're going to sacrifice. We pay the dumb tax every year, Brent and I, and we pay tens of thousands, if not these last few years, we've paid millions of dollars to lose over and over and over and over and over again. Millions of dollars to just lose. And every time we learn something, so we improve ourselves. But the world's greatest losers are also probably the ones who have the most amount of money because they take their losses and they turn around and they learn from it and they do something different the next time. And they just keep losing over and over and over again. And because they keep losing is why they win because they're learning at an accelerated rate versus everyone around them who's just trying to win and who is hiding behind the what ifs of losing and the scarcity and mindset of losing in order for them to protect what they have. And those that just consistently try and fail and lose and try and fail and lose are the ones who are really right now changing the world. And I think Elon Musk is a huge, I would say, proponent of this. And it goes back to the photo of him with SpaceX that went viral, where he's just standing in the middle of a huge room that has all the little pieces of his first rocket ship just explode, like, it just fucking blew up.
Mm.
And so they took all the little pieces and they put it in this room so they could try and decipher, like, what failed, what was the issue. And it's a picture of him just sitting there just staring at, like, his rocket in complete ruins, millions of dollars just fucking down the drain. The stock was terrible at that time, etcetera. And but that's part of his story. That was part of, like, the innovation and the sacrifice that he had to make and everything that he put into that business. I mean, he took all his profits from his first businesses and literally dumped them into his next businesses, all the profits. And then that's what he consistently does, takes all his profits and just bets on himself, just full on all in poker chips, bet it all on red. Fuck it. I'm going to figure it out. And he does that. And that's the price, that obsession that he has, the sacrifice that he has of living in his offices, in the wherever he is, whether he's living inside Tesla or living inside SpaceX. He goes and there's plenty of things that make fun of him that he's like sleeping in his office on the floor or on the couch for days, weeks, months straight to figure shit out on a consistent basis. And again, that allows him to really focus. Is he a terrible father? Yeah. Is he not a good spouse? Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in his house. I don't know what his kids have again, he has the ability to fly his kids and his girlfriends, I guess, or ex-girlfriends, wives, ex-wives everywhere. So he has the money to do that. And I don't know what they do with their family. But that being said, he cuts out all the extra noise that might distract him. He wakes up at work, goes to sleep at work, and that's what he loves to do. And again, you don't have to sacrifice to that level, but there is a level of sacrifice that sometimes that's kind of what your life is going to feel like.
Yeah, you touched on something there. He's wildly ambitious, and you touched on maybe some things that we don't really know because 'cause we're not in his immediate environment, but how do you stay wildly ambitious without being toxic to the people that are the closest to you?
I think I think those are two different things. Like, there's a difference between because I fucking hate the word toxic. Thanks, Vaughn, for writing this question, so Amanda has to fucking say it. But that word toxic is bullshit. Toxic just means you're a piece of shit. Literally, that's my definition of it.
Mm.
If you're a shitty boss, you're a shitty employee, you got shitty colleagues. That now the new word for that is toxic. I mean, growing up, that was just shitty human being. Pretty much, like, don't be a shitty human being. I mean, they wrote a whole book about it. It's called the Bible. It's a really long ass book that literally is all about just not being a shitty human being. That's like the whole fucking book in one sentence. Like, that could be the homily of every Sunday church. Don't be an asshole. Help your friends. Don't be a shitty human being. I
That's
could
it.
be
I
like the
never
church.
have to go to church
There
again.
you go. The Church of the Fawns right there for you. Hey, some people might not get that. I don't think you get that.
Uh-uh.
Oh, whatever. Do you get that? You're too young. Oh, okay. You're good. You're young for it, but whatever.
I'm young too.
That's okay. You are. You are young. You are. It's okay. The older people should have gotten it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you should
Oh,
have gotten that.
mm.
Damn it,
It's because 'cause
grandma.
I'm so young.
Grandma over there. That being said, what the fuck was I talking about? Don't be
Don't
an
be a
ass.
shitty human.
So I think that there's absolutely a way to be wildly ambitious and not be toxic. Because if you're wildly ambitious and you're going to succeed in your wild ambition, you're going to have to take care of the people around you, provide for the people around you. And even people like, I mean, let's go to with polarizing people. Let's go Donald Trump, Elon Musk, George Soros. These are all like polarizing fucking people. Elizabeth Warren, all these polarizing people where people either fucking hate them or they fucking love them. Period. There's like no in between on some of these people. They have all been able to obviously take care of the people around them where people want to work for them. People want to continue to be around them. People want to be a part of what they're building.
Mm.
Like, Obviously, there's a whole bunch of people that found it an honor to work on Trump's cabinet, right? Obviously, there's a whole bunch of people that wanted to work with Elizabeth Warren. Obviously, there's a whole bunch of people that want to work in a SpaceX or a Tesla. There's a whole bunch of people who want to be a part of that vision. And if you were just a toxic piece of shit without the visionary, without the opportunities, without the growth, then people wouldn't be around you. People wouldn't hang around you. So whether you like someone or not, I mean, even George Soros, I mean, he became a billionaire, yeah. And he's got all this background stuff where it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ, dude. Obviously, there's enough people around him that support him in his visions and ideals and crap like that. Now, I'm not saying that all those visions and ideals are wrong because there's a whole bunch of people who followed Hitler too. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that obviously they had to create some sort of culture that was good for the people around them at the time to rally behind them. And so it's the same when you're creating your culture. You got to create a culture that people want to rally behind and be a part of and grow and improve and again, help essentially your business get to the next level. And you cannot do that without being wildly ambitious. People don't want to follow Frank who sits on his fucking couch all day, you know? Because Frank is not like, yeah, I'm not ambitious. So people are going to be like, oh, yeah, let's follow Frank. Doesn't work like that.
Mm. All right. Well, diving into the next one, I know that you have read books by Jocko Willink. We are going to talk about Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Jocko and Leif, am I saying that right?
Leaf.
Leif? Extreme Ownership by Jocko Willink and Leif Babin. Jocko and Leif are ex Navy SEALs who turn their battlefield lessons into business leadership training. And the core idea really is that a leader must take personal responsibility, not just for some things, but for absolutely everything. No excuses, no blaming. And if the team fails, it's the leader that owns the responsibility of it. And if a mission goes sideways, then the leader adapts and improves the processes. So, have you read this book?
Yes.
And your takeaway of the idea of total ownership.
I think this is important. Accountability is one of our core values. Everything that happens in your business is your fault. Everything that happens in your life is your fault. And there is an example of a story of extreme ownership where, and I don't know if it's in the book or I heard it otherwise, but it details the same concept where a father allowed his daughter to go to a party, right? And she didn't drink. And she was a young, I think 16 or 17 years old. She drove to the party, didn't drink, was driving home, hit and killed by a drunk driver, right? And in the court and afterwards with the aftermath and interviewing him, he said, I have no one to blame but myself. I don't blame the drunk driver. I don't blame my daughter. I have no one to blame but myself. And everybody's like, "Oh, what? This guy was drinking. He's like, I don't like. I have no one to blame but myself because I allowed my daughter to go to this party at this specific time, drive home at this specific time, and that's ultimately when she got hit and killed her." Now that's an example of extreme ownership, right? Extreme accountability. But if more business owners and people thought that way, it would be a whole hell of a lot more successful because and I've had to learn that as we lead teams in that sometimes and more often than not, this phrase is as you get smarter, people get dumber. And it's really seemingly true sometimes. But there are some times where people do things in our business, and Brent and I are like the cat meme that's sitting on the edge of his bed, edge of the bed. He's all like all fucked up. I don't know if you've seen that cat meme. There's like like a stuffed animal cat, and he's just sitting on the end of the bed with his hands like up like this, like what the fuck. Like some of the times we're just like, we just had an episode this morning that was like, what the fuck. Like
Hmm.
I think we said this at least fucking 30 times, right? And that's gonna happen in business. But if that happens, we have to sit back and we have to think then, okay, well, why are they still fucking doing this after 30 times? Obviously, our training systems isn't right, our communication system isn't right, or they're just fucking stupid. There's all of the above. That are, I mean, really three options that could have happened here. But when you look at your business, you have to do that with every single part of your business. We're not selling stuff. Okay. Well, that's probably my fault. Do we have a good sales training? Do we have a great product? If every time somebody buys something, are we fucking up or not? Okay. We have no referrals. Okay. Well, what are we doing to the clients to not get referrals? Well, we've got nobody who is a no long term value. People leave after 3 months. Okay. Well, what are we doing to make people leave after 3 months?
Mhm.
You know, all those things is our fault. All those things is our accountability. And at the end of the day, those are problems that Brent and I are paid to solve. Those are issues that Brent and I are paid to solve. So if we have a staff that's that's complaining about communication, okay, what are the systems that we have to put in place to make sure that there are no breakdowns in communication? What are the ways that we have to announce to a team that there's something coming through? Like, is it our internal communication platform plus text messaging plus emailing? Sometimes it is until we figure it out. Same thing with the sales. Is this Do the staff need retraining? Do they need more training? Do they need to move from the being a sales girl because they suck at it to the front desk and then hire a second salesperson who's really or another salesperson who's really good at sales? So, if you don't take accountability for everything that happens in your business and touch everything that happens in your business at some point or another, guess what? It's going to get fucked. And some people won't like that. There will be people that literally like, well, I feel like you're micromanaging me or overbearing or anything. Yeah, motherfucker. Until you prove that you can do it without fucking shit up, I'm going to micromanage you. And if you make a dumb fucking decision, I'm going to train you why you shouldn't make that decision and then watch what you do afterwards. But if you keep making dumb fucking decisions in your business, don't expect somebody to just continuously give you jobs to do where they have to trust you. It's as simple as that. You get trust by doing shit you're supposed to do, by following the rules and continuing to grow in the same way that the team wants you to grow. Now, if you don't like that, go somewhere else. Build your own business. Do your own things. Make the sacrifices. But Jeff Bezos say to when he was growing up growing Amazon, he used to say to his executives, "All I want you to do is do what I tell you to." Because he knew the vision, he knew the mission, he knew the direction he was going in. And so people would say, well, what about this or what about this or what about this? And he would say, I need you to shut the fuck up because I don't need your suggestions. I know the direction we're going in. I know what we have to do to get there. So you either shut the fuck up and run the play or you get the fuck out. And he would say, the customer doesn't know what they need until I tell them what they need or I tell them what they want. So I need you to shut the fuck up. And he would say that all the time to his staff. And I'm not saying you should do that, but if you have a vision that is that clear and a direction that is that clear, you need to make sure that you have accountability on the backside to yourself for executing that. And that's exactly what Jeff Bezos did. That's exactly what Elon Musk had did. That's exactly what the Apple guy again.
Steve Jobs.
Thank you. That's exactly what Steve Jobs did. They did those things and executed and told everybody else on their team, "This is the direction we're going in. If you do not like it, get off the bus because this is where we're going. This is where we're headed." So you have to have that obsession, you have to have that belief, but at the same time, you have to have that accountability to go in that direction. And when you delegate, it's not just that, well, if you fuck up one thing and I delegate to you, that's the only thing you fucked up. If I delegate to you and you fuck up one thing, there was probably 15 things behind that one thing you're doing that I had already planned out that needed to be done. So if you screw that up, then you screwed up 15 other things, or at least push back 15 other things that I got to go fix.
Mm.
And so again, why did you screw that up? How do I fix it? How do I automate it? Do I hire someone better? Do I put in better systems? What does the money, how can the money solve the problem here when it comes to that? But it's your responsibility. At the end of the day, if you're running the business, you're running the corporation, it's your fault.
And everybody within the corporation, I mean, that comes from the top down, needs to have total ownership. It's like in any relationship too. I've gone to different relationship seminars, counselors, whatever. And in a relationship, you can't say, well, I'll take 50, they take 50. If there's an issue, each party has to take 100% of the ownership, like almost to the point where like arguing over whose fault it is. But it's a matter of like 100% ownership all the time. Because a lot of times too, I know from my life, and I've coached a lot of people over the years. So I have my master's in personal development in a particular course, and upon coaching many, many, many people, uh, people have a gut feeling. Usually, they can pinpoint back to, I felt like I shouldn't do that. Like the dad who took ownership of his daughter going to the party and being killed. There might have been some little twinge in his gut that was like, I shouldn't let her go. Or, maybe she shouldn't go, or whatever the feeling is. And then when something happens, if you really take an honest look at yourself, you can go, I knew there was something in me that I felt like I shouldn't do that, but I didn't trust it. I let the mind get in, and I overrode what my gut was telling me with m my mind, like, the thought processes of, rationalizing why I should do it instead of why I shouldn't do it, and those are the things oftentimes that cause the mistakes that we could avoid if people were really moving through intuition and with their gut, and it's it's not esoteric to think like our bodies tell us which steps we should take, how we should move, what we should do. We just have to quiet the mind long enough to pay attention to it. So recognizing like I shouldn't have said that. And I knew by saying that it was going to cause this issue. But you go back to like, I mean, I've been in arguments with my partner where I'm like, I know if I say this thing, it's not gonna make the argument better. We're gonna it's not gonna be good, but I say it anyway because my ego is in there. And, then it's like, when I go back, it's like, let me take 100% ownership of where we got to in this argument because I said this and I knew it shouldn't have. I knew it was gonna head this direction. In business, same thing. I knew I should have, taken action here and not here, done it like this or said this. And I that's another thing. It's like I knew I should speak up and I didn't speak up
Mm.
because I think that's a way for people to kind of wash their hands of ownership, not they don't take action. So they sit on the sidelines and watch, even though their gut is, I should do this thing. So where that's another area where you can assess like, where should I have taken action and I didn't? Because it's not always the action that I took. Sometimes it's the action that you chose not to take.
That's great point. That's such a good point.
So always going back to 100% responsibility there and total ownership. I recently had a call with Vaughn. and because he coaches me on some things that I'm working on. And I said to him, he said, "There seems like something is off with you today." And I was like, "Yeah, there is. This is what I did. This is how I set the person up. I did it like this so that I could be a victim." And I just was like, I knew the path. I knew why I did it. I knew what the resulting condition was, and everything. And he was like, wow, not often that you hear people take that. Like, you got to be really, really honest with yourself. And when you are, that's where you see a lot of growth with you and the people that you're trying to lead. But it's that level of leadership when the team see you taking extreme ownership, it does allow space for them to start to do the same thing. Comes from the top down. Lead by example.
Yep.
Do you ever find that there are limits when it comes to how fast your businesses are growing where you have to delegate? So maybe some of the responsibility would be put off on somebody else?
Um, I think yes and no. If you're gonna delegate something, then you have to have directions for them to follow. So it still falls back on you in the long run, where if you don't create the directions for them to follow or the systems for them to follow and they can't follow it, well, then you're going to have trouble on the backside because they're not going to be able to do what you're telling them to do. So if you are fast paced, you will get into trouble when you don't set up the right delegation systems. We don't set up the right training systems. And again, we've suffered through that with Genesis, where we grew really, really fast and didn't have the systems to support the size and the pace at which we were growing, and had to cut back and go back to, okay, we need to do and put in X, Y, and Z on the approach. Um, and so that's where the limits come in. That's where you have to focus, or we have to focus on, okay, we got to go back to the growth. We got to go back to setting this up.
All right. And we're on our fifth book, not four,
Got it. Fifth one.
number five for this podcast. uh, Unreasonable Hospitality by Will Guidara. And Will ran 11 Madison Park, which was once rated the number one restaurant in the absolute world. And his belief was that going way beyond what's expected in customer service experience isn't just a nice to have, but it helps you have a complete advantage. He calls this unreasonable hospitality. Not because it's wasteful, but because it creates moments that people will never forget. You've been in both high-end medical and aesthetic services over the years. How do you think about customer service in this world?
People think that because we're a medical clinic and you go through medical training where patients just come to you, they have to come to you. They're sick, they got a disease, they have some sort of issue or ailment, so they're essentially forced to come to you, and they most of the time hate coming to you. They don't like to go to the doctor. They don't like to see the doctor. They got history, or vaccinations or blood drawn or some sort of accident that they had when they were a kid, and they hate doctors and going to see the doctor. They go because they have to. Now, the beautiful thing about Genesis and what we do is that we get to see clients and we get to see people who are relatively healthy to a degree, healthy in the definition of they're not actively dying and need meds and stuff like that, but they want to just get better. They want to improve their sex life. They want to improve how they feel during the day. They want to lose weight. So, all those things, yes, they're not the optimal that they could be, but again, we're not starting from ground zero, and these are people who are reaching out to us to want to get these services. At the same time, because these services improve people's lives and make them healthier and and more resistant to diseases, as a result of that, it's not covered by insurance. It's going to be cash pay. It's all going to be out of pocket expenses. So we need to realize as a company that what we are doing is 100% service based. where clientele are bringing their well hard earned money that they could spend anywhere else they want to us for us to make their lives better. So that's a huge honor and it's a huge blessing for somebody to do that for us. And as a result, they should get extremely high level customer service. They should be of utmost respect. We should really make sure that they love coming to us because they're spending that level of money that they should get a high level of customer service. They should get an improvement. When the one of the least expensive packages or treatments we have is a night at a nice 4 or 5-star hotel, when they should get 4 or 5-star hotel, treatment minimum when they come in the door. So if you run a service-based business, if you're running a medical clinic, that is cash-based, you need to realize that you have to treat your clients that way and have the respect for them that they are taking what they have earned that they could go buy whatever they want with and they are giving it to you for some sort of treatment, service, etc. So you should really really take that into account and be honored by that.
Where have you created the unforgettable moments that people take out, tell other people about, and they're the moments that most impact the growth of Genesis and the company brand?
Where have we created the unforgettable moments? I think it's something that is always a work in progress. I think when you walk into the clinic, you being the VP of branding, making sure the clinic looks very nice, very warm, welcoming, the branding is on point. I think the second is the dress code that we have for the ladies in the sales team at the front desk, dressing very nice, very elegant. Some people have certain scents in their offices. Some people have certain music playing in the back end. The MAs, the providers, the staff support in the back end, they're wearing nice scrubs that are matching. It's not all over the place. Their hair is done. Do they have makeup done? Somewhat, but they don't have to. They don't come to work looking like bums. Where and then it's a, yes sir, no sir, or addressing people by their name so that you're friendly with them, asking about their days, asking about their lives, making sure that we have little gift bags for people. All those things are things that allow us or that have allowed us to create those unforgettable moments. And that never stops. We're always thinking about what's the next thing to create that unforgettable moment. I know I have an email today from a company who does custom scents, obviously, for the office. At some point, we talked about doing that. We will do it at some point. Is it something right now that needs to be done? No, but it's something we've talked about, and that'll be something we create. Gift bags. What's that going to look like with the skincare company that's coming on board that you're creating and launching? What's that going to look like in terms of gifts and samplers and little bags that are Genesis or stature? What is that going to look like when we launch that? All those little things you need to consistently think about in unforgettable moments. And you can start with just your own business and say, if I walked into this company and I looked around or I interacted with this company, what would I want to have here that would be like, "Oh my gosh, this is over the top. I love this place. I wanna come back to this place." What are those things? And start to put those things in place.
One of the things too that we bonus on at Genesis is when they send out like handwritten messages, thank yous, birthday messages, whatever they are. Our teams get a bonus every time they send a card out because it just gets them in the habit of communicating in a different way. And I think we all can say that when we get a handwritten note, it's so much more impactful now because we're in such a digital age where text messages the preferred method of communication at this point. It's like when somebody takes the time to write out a message on a card, put it in the mail, send it to you, you get it, it just feels so good. So those are the types of things too that we're incentivizing our teams to do, to create those wow moments, to remember their names. And we often talk about put in the notes like that their kids had a soccer tournament this weekend or that their dog, they got a new dog or whatever it is so that the next time they come in, you can ask something specific and really be interested in their life and what's going on with them as a person. And I think those things create wow moments and, little to no cost at all associated with that, but very, very impactful.
Mhm.
The wow factor is something that, uh, having been in Las Vegas for a long time and knowing a lot of people and being involved in the hospitality industry, Caesar or not Caesar's, I apologize, Cosmopolitan had it was like a wow factor card that they could give, and each employee could give, I think it was like $200 per person. So, I mean, they had like a lot of money that they could give out, and I knew, somebody that was in management there, and so, he was explaining to me how it worked, and the staff never took advantage of it, but if, let's say, somebody was having, a bad experience or a difficult time checking in or whatever it is, that employee could give a $200 gift card to make it better. Like, we're gonna make this right. Like dinner's on us, or we here's your this is your birthday or whatever it is. Like, here's this wow thing that you get to experience while you're on property. And that makes such a big difference in those people. They're going to spend way more than that and they're going to come back and they're going to write reviews, but it builds the reputation and that's what it's all about. Hospitality, customer service is about building that reputation because
Yeah.
people word of mouth is the best form of marketing and especially with social media now, it is the way everybody's hearing about stuff. I know if I wanna find, like, a coffee shop in town, I'm Instagramming, like, what kind of cool coffee shops are people posting about? And that's what I'm looking for. I don't really look at Google reviews or Yelp, I don't even know what that is these days, but, like, I'm not even looking at that. What are people saying online? That's word of mouth. Those are real, genuine I guess genuine, you hope they're genuine videos of people that have had great experiences somewhere. So I'm like, "Okay, I wanna go try that
Yeah.
place."
Yeah, and we used to do that at Genesis with, Starbucks cards, where we had $5 Starbucks cards at the front desk, and if we were running late or behind, we would be like and people had to wait more than 30 minutes for their visit, we would give them a $5 Starbucks card as part of it. "Hey, buy coffee or a sandwich on us. Sorry that we ran late. Here you go." And it went a long way, and we didn't scale it because we were afraid of trying to scale something that was unscalable. But now that I think about it, and now that what really in business separates you from everybody else is doing these things that are unforgettable, and as a caveat to that, the things that are unforgettable are gonna be the things that are unscalable. So, people say, "Well, that's not scalable, you can't scale that." Well, if you do, imagine if you did, what what the impact would be, right? Imagine if we had a setup to where we can buy $5 gift cards and get them shipped out to the clinics and they just had them. Like, what's the automation process that we have to do to make sure that that's done, right? And if we could do that, how much more good, I would say, not feelings, good, juju, whatever, good karma
Karma,
would
yeah.
I would we achieve with clientele at that point, giving them that and say, "I'm sorry, here's your gift card." How many less angry people would we get in that
Mhm.
case? How many more
Mhm.
happy people would we get in that case? What would be the ROI on that, on little $5 gift cards, right? And Hormozy says something great about this that I was listening the other day is that if you think you can't scale a certain part of your business, it's because you don't have the skill to. It's not unscalable, it's unskillable.
Hmm.
So, what is the skill that you have to have in order to scale this? So those unforgettable moments that you have, the scent, the music, the outfits, the marketing, the branding in the clinic. If you feel like you can't scale it, that's probably what you should be focused on trying to scale, because that's probably what's setting you apart from everyone else.
Yeah.
My mentor, Andy Frisello, wrote handwritten thank you cards in every single first form order. And I've known him for almost, gosh, a decade now. And he used to handwrite every single thank you card. And then it went to him signing the thank you cards. And then it went to people of his team writing the handwritten thank you cards. And to this day, there's still on every invoice that I order from First Form some handwritten note on the invoice itself that's packed in the box. And that's again something that was unscalable. They do billions of dollars a year, hundreds of thousands of orders, if not millions of orders at this point, a month. Like, are you telling me that they write hundreds of thousands, if not millions of thank yous? Yeah, they do. Handwritten. And it's just staff pumping them out all day long
Mm,
as part of their job. Something he scaled the unscalable, but made it unforgettable.
yeah. Yeah, I go back to the Starbucks gift cards if that was something you actually wanted to do. It's like if each location is open, I mean, no more than 20 days a month, because that would mean they're open 5 days a week. And I don't know if any of our clinics are open 5 days a week, at most four. So if they were to spend $100 a month, that was just a given expense for the clinic. $100 a month, you have 20 gift cards that you can give out to create that wow moment. So if somebody's medication is running late, or if the service time is running late, or they just came in and they just had a shitty day, and they're telling you about it, because would get clients that would come in and traffic was bad, or this was bad, whatever it is, it's like just to put a smile on their face. That's like one a day, essentially, if they're open 5 days a week. So you have more than one a day to give away. And it's like one person a day across 40 clinics, let's say, at minimum. That's 40 people every single day that are getting a wow moment from Genesis.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
that would be massively impactful.
Right.
I love it. I love it. Well, I might have to figure something out with
And
that,
I mean, if you do the
'cause
math, that's what, $200 a day? Yeah, $200 a day of loss essentially when it comes to that. So that's the expense of that, $200 a day.
Mm, mhm.
And the skill of
And that's at most, because not all of our clinics are
yeah,
open that
yeah.
many
Yeah,
days.
yeah,
They're
yeah,
not gonna
yeah,
give that
40
many
would be high.
out.
Yeah, 40 would be
It's
high.
high. Yeah.
So $200 a day, and, spread out over the course of the day, over all the clinics. So $200 lost to each of the to the total enterprise value. I mean, so all we had to do was wow one person to upgrade, or wow one person to get a sale to cover your net.
Mhm.
Period. Like one person that showed up late, or the not person that showed up late, one person that we treated them late, but we gave them the gift card. They're super happy. We talked to them about another service and they bought.
Mhm. Or they send somebody,
Or they sent a
which is even
referral.
yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, I love that. I love that idea. So and it's super straightforward. Actually reminds me, I have a dog vitamin that I bought. And in the package it was like a stamp card, and it said if you give your dog the vitamins for 20 days straight, you just mark it. It's like the honesty policy. Then you take a picture and email it to them. They'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. So they're essentially training you
Yeah.
to make it
It's
a
a good training
habit to
system. Yeah,
use
yeah.
their product,
Yeah.
right?
Right?
But I didn't do it because, from honesty policy, I didn't give my dog the vitamins every day for 20 days, so I didn't get it. But I thought that's really cool. I like it. I put it on my refrigerator, and I looked at it, and so
Yeah,
I
there you
looked
go.
at the company for
There
like
you
a
go.
month before I was like, "Well, this is out the window,"
Yeah.
because I
Okay,
I
I didn't
didn't
do this.
I
I
didn't do
failed.
it,
Yeah.
but but still pretty cool. Um, I think that we've covered some really great topics when it comes to these first 5 books, from 10 to 6. We have 5 more to cover in the second part of our, podcast, which will come out at a later date. But, it's really just about shaping the mindset of entrepreneurs now in 2025. What is it that makes someone start out one way and grow to being successful, or to the point where they really feel like they're thriving in their business? And the real test is how that translates to our lives, our teams,
Yep.
our environment. It's like we can take knowledge in, but it's like, what does it mean for us? And what does it mean for our businesses? So I'm a big fan of implementing what you've learned, not just absorbing information. It's the implementation process that makes the breakthrough. So if you've read any of these books and you listened and you're going like, "I love this and this is how I implemented that," we wanna know about it. So make sure you're commenting, sharing, posting, DMing us, whatever it is, let us know what you think about these first 5 books that we covered.
Exactly. And we'd love to hear from you guys. Love to hear what your thoughts are. You don't need to read every book to know that it works, but you just need to wrestle with the good ideas that you have and apply those. For example, I'm a very slow reader. 10 pages a day is the most for me that I could probably get through in terms of an hour's worth of time because I internalize everything, read, interpret it, and at the same time, I take actionable steps over the course of the 6 years that I've been in business so far. I maybe read 20 books, at the most 30 books. And the thing is, I take those books though and I implement the it used to be 2 to 5 things, now it's 1 to 2 things that really are going to move the needle in your business. And that's what you guys need to do, guys. Next episode, we'll go through books 5 through 1, the next five, right? Not
Thanks,
four.
bye.
And I'll continue to tell you what I'd keep, what I'd tweak, what I'd toss. And so I hope to see you guys next time. Have a good one.